Hi, my name is Jon Dalton and I'm here today to talk to you about this guitar. This is the Gibson ES-165 Herb Ellis. And the Gibson ES-165 Herb Ellis model is essentially a Gibson ES-175 with a single humbucking pickup. It has gold-plated metal parts, and the outer veneers of the woods are quite, they've tried to use fancy veneers, give it a kind of nice look like that, and it feels and sounds great. And if you want a short review of the guitar, that's it. But I would guess that, you know, as you clicked on this video, you're probably guitar fans and you want to know a little bit more, so I want to try and tell you a bit more about this instrument. I don't think I can really do that without first giving you some insight into the man who inspired it. Herb Ellis was a great jazz guitarist with a career spanning many decades. He played with many of the greats in jazz. He wasn't a particularly flashy guitarist like some of his perhaps better known contemporaries, but there was a kind of a bluesy, swinging feel to his playing that's pretty much unmatched. And he was a great band musician, which you can hear with his work with the Oscar Peterson Trio. Oscar Peterson, very famous Canadian jazz pianist. But if you really want to hear Herb Ellis, maybe you should hear him in an environment with someone like the singer Ella Fitzgerald, where he's basically playing guitar just in accompaniment with her voice. And that gives you a chance to really study the beautiful timing and gentle lilting swing of what he does. It sounds so easy, but like many things in life that appear simple, they're a lot harder to achieve than they appear in the hands of a master, which he most certainly was. Anyway, Herb's guitar, which this guitar is kind of inspired by, was a 1953 Gibson ES-175, a single pickup variant. The ES-175 came out in 1949 and it was only available in a single pickup model until about 1953, which was the year, coincidentally, that he bought his. And that's when also the dual pickup ES-175D or dual pickup model came out. Like I say, his guitar had a single coil pickup, a P90, which is kind of a black pickup with a row of single pole pieces along the middle. And he later swapped that out for a Gibson humbucking pickup. His idea behind doing that was he thought it would cut down on feedback. Whether or not that actually was the case, I don't know, but he must have been happy with the modification because that's pretty much how he kept his guitar after that. Specific to this guitar, let's look around the back. As you can see, this guitar is fitted with Grover tuners here. These are a really good high-grade tuner. They tune very smoothly, and once you've got the guitar in tune, it stays there. Now, most ES-175s and their variants come with these kind of Cluson tuners. I just brought this Ellis for CES to show you that. These are the ones with the kind of the green pegs here, and they look great. They got a lovely vintage feel to them. And if you, I'm just going to turn the guitar around. You can see they got that kind of a rectangular, boxy shape on the back right here. Truth of the matter is, for me, as good as they look, they're not the most smooth operating tuners that are out there. Once you get the guitar in tune, they're fine, but they can be a little sticky. Whereas I find these Grovers are kind of super smooth. And it's true to say that a lot of Gibson players, not just of the 175, but of other guitars like Les Pauls and ES-335s, etc., have swapped out their Cluson tuners for these Grovers or Shallows because, like I said, they're just a little bit smoother in operation and perhaps more suited to a professional working environment. And let's not forget who this guitar was inspired by, and that's Herb Ellis, a great working musician. I also want to bring your attention to this mahogany neck here. The neck is entirely made of one-piece mahogany, apart from some very slight slithers of mahogany that have been added to the edge by the tuners here. This is just to save on wood. You probably find that for every 20 neck blanks you make, that little addition of wood there will probably give you one extra neck blank. So it's a small economy, but it doesn't make any difference to way that the guitar plays and feels. The actual profile of the neck is quite a rounded C-section, quite a full neck. They call it a jazz profile or something like that. I don't know the specifics, but don't be fooled into thinking that that makes it difficult to play. It doesn't. It feels really nice and in the hand. I like this, and also I think the extra density of the wood adds something to the sustain and tone of the instrument. The fretboard, which is common to the ES-165 also, is made of rosewood. Now this L4 over here, and most of the other guitars I own actually, have kind of ebony fretboards, and ebony is a very dense hardwood, hardly any grain feel to it at all, so it almost feels like you're playing on it. Whereas with the rosewood, it has a slightly more open grain in which you can feel with your fingers, so it kind of feels more like you're playing in the guitar. It's really comfortable. I like it. And like I say, Herb's guitar, he swapped out the wooden bridge top for a gold-plated Tune-o-matic. Now, some might think that's a slightly odd choice given that most of the rest of the parts on his guitar, pickup, tailpiece, etc., would have been nickel-plated, but obviously he was more interested in its function, and that was probably what was lying around at the time. And I guess when Gibson saw that his guitar had a gold bridge, they figured that, you know, they couldn't sort of mix and match the hardware. They couldn't have a gold bridge and nickel pickup, so they went for gold throughout. I mean, I don't know if that's the official position, but that's just my guess. Talking about the parts of the guitar, the pickup on this guitar, it's not the Gibson Classic 57, which would have been the obvious choice at the time that this guitar came out, which was in 1991. It is actually a 490R, and the reason this guitar, this pickup was chosen for this guitar was that Gibson listened to Herb's own guitar and went through the range of their own pickups to try and find the one that sounded most like his instrument, and that was the one that they landed on. The actual sound of the instrument, the pickup is very mid-range centered and has got a slightly boxy tone, almost as if you're talking through like cupped hands kind of a sound, which is kind of very typical of like 50s jazz guitars. They don't always have this sort of deep bass and crystalline treble that you associate with, say, an L5 or a Super 400. Sometimes the sound is actually much more contained than that, and this is kind of what the sound that this guitar has. I'll just play a few notes on it to give you an idea. So there you go, a really nice, woody, smooth type of a tone there. Not a lot of variation in the sound. I don't think the 490R has a lot of top end. The Classic 57 has a brighter top end to my ears. So here's the guitar with the tone control rolled wide open. And here's the guitar with the tone control rolled completely shut. There's a slight variation, but really not that much. So this isn't a guitar that's built for versatility. It's built to be able to give you that kind of straight ahead jazz sound, and if that's what you want, that's what you get. Before I leave you, I need to let you know that there's two variations of the Gibson Herb Ellis guitar. This is the earliest incarnation, and this is the one closest to Herb's actual instrument, the one that he owned, because this one had, like I say, the body-mounted humbucking pickup. Originally 1991, finished production, I'm not sure the exact date, but I think it's about 2002, 2003, and there is a later variant of the Herb Ellis model which has humbucking pickup that is mounted to the end of the neck, so it's a floating pickup, there's no hole in the top of the guitar. And similarly they moved, it doesn't have a tone control as far as I know, but they moved the volume control onto the pickguard or scratch plate so that the guitar keeps more of its acoustic personality. To me, jazz guitars, they kind of fall into two camps. You've either got the sort of more smoother, contained sound of the body-mounted pickup, or you have a more acoustic sound which you get from the neck-mounted pickup. I tend to prefer the more electric sound, but it's, you know, whatever sound you hear in your head is obviously going to be the one variant that you should go for. So that's pretty much it for the Gibson Herb Ellis. It's fulfilled my needs as a good working instrument. I love playing it. It's nice and light, and when I pick it up I don't want to put it down. The prices, as I say, very reasonable on the new used market. If you're looking for a working tool that is also, you know, a pretty nice instrument to own, then I don't think you'll go wrong with this. Thanks for your time.